welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be my birthday book haul. So as I'm posting this on March 9th, it is my birthday today. I turn 27 years old, which is kind of crazy. I don't feel like I'm 27. I feel like I'm 23, to be honest. I have 14 books in this book haul today. I have a couple from Amazon and a couple from Indigo. So I guess I'm just going to jump straight in. The first book I actually bought back in December, but I didn't get it until like middle or end of January, and that is the Unabridged Journals of Sylvia Plath. I want to say back in summer of 2022, I had started the Bell Jar and I got to maybe like 30 pages and I put it down just because I mentally wasn't in the right headspace to continue reading that, but I really liked the writing and I would love to finish that book this year, but I loved obviously what I had read, so I decided to pick up her journals and read about her life and her entries and stuff. This will definitely take me forever to read, but I just thought it would be really fascinating to read. I feel like I'd probably have to read like a couple of pages a night or something, but I am very happy I bought this. It was also on sale on Indigo. It was like $10 off, so that's kind of why I bought it as well. So the other books I did buy from Indigo, and their website was actually down for, I want to say like 2 weeks, and their entire like system was down. They were having a lot of issues, which I felt so bad for all of the employees, but they weren't accepting like credit cards or debit or like gift cards. They weren't doing returns. They were literally only accepting cash. And the one day I went there, it was, I think, the day that their website went down and everything was like shut down, and I had no cash, so I literally had to go back the next day and I had cash, and then I bought a couple of books. But their website I think is back up now, but I don't think you can buy like a lot, and I don't even know if you can like sign into your account and stuff like that. It just seems really messy. I hope that they figure it out eventually. So that's also why the rest of my books are from Amazon, because I wanted to buy my birthday books in advance and Indigo was already having issues, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna wait until they figure it out. Like, I want these books now, so I bought other books from Amazon. The next two books I've actually shown in my January and February wrap up. I read these back then. So I bought Longshot and Blockshot by Kennedy Ryan. These are book 1 and book 2 in the Hoops series. I initially bought Longshot because it was there and I was so shocked. My Indigo does not carry like indie self-published books. They wait until like a publisher picks up the book, or they have like their own imprint that they do, like for Mariana Zapata's novels. They never carry self-published romance books there. So when I saw Longshot, I was so surprised. I was like, yes, I'm gonna buy this. I ended up reading this and loving it, and then a couple of days later I went back for Blockshot, and then I did also grab Hookshot, which I have not read yet. But I was so surprised that this entire trilogy was there, and I was so happy that I went back and Blockshot and Hookshot were still there, so I was able to grab this entire trilogy. Yeah, like I said, I've yet to read this book, but I'm so glad I'm finally reading the series. I'm finally reading more Kennedy Ryan. I've been putting off the series, specifically the first book, since like 2018, so I'm glad I finally have them, and I now just have to read the last book. This next book wasn't initially on my radar, but a lot of people were saying it was really, really cute, and I love cute YA novels, so I bought Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. I had read Get a Life, Chloe Brown a couple of years ago, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I think I did give it 4 stars, but it was more like a 3-star read for me. I just didn't love how it was in third person, so I never really continued that series, but this is her YA title, and it is in dual POV, which is really fun. I've heard it's very cute, and I, like I said, love cute YA stories, so I'm excited to give this a try. It's also pretty short, so I feel like I could read this really fast. And the last book I bought from Indigo is Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. This is the third and final book in the Last Hours trilogy. I have not read this series yet, but I have read everything else by Cassandra Clare, at least from her Shadowhunter books. I love all of her Shadowhunter novels, so I already own book 1 and book 2, so I went ahead and bought book 3. I'm very excited to binge the series. It's kind of why I waited until the third book was out so that I could read them all back to back. This book is massive. I feel like this is honestly one of her biggest books. I've heard that this one is kind of disappointing, so I'm kind of nervous to start this series, but I am also very excited. So hopefully I can read this entire series in March. I would at least love to start the first book. Now we get on to the books from Amazon. I really want to make it a goal this year that I'm done putting off books that I've been meaning to read for years. I have a lot of newer releases in here, but there are a few that are kind of older. I really, really need to read books that I have been meaning to read for years. I'm done putting it off. It is time that I get to all these books. I also feel like if I get the physical copy of them, I feel like it'll make me want to read them more. Like it'll be more enticing for me to finish them. I think I'm kind of falling out of love with my Kindle, which I know is weird, but I'm not loving my Kindle at the moment. And there's something much more satisfying about putting a book on my TBR shelf, picking it up, reading it, and then bringing it in this room and putting it on these shelves with all of my other books. It's kind of like checking off a book off the list, you know, and there's just something I love about that. So I think that's why I bought a lot of these in physical copy when I haven't read them yet, because usually I will read a book on my Kindle, and if I love it, I will buy a physical copy of it because I want to have the ebook and the physical copy. But I don't know, I'm not living my Kindle at the moment, so I'd rather just have a physical copy of a book. So I don't know. Also, I kind of want to get into annotating a little bit more, and that's kind of also why I bought physical copies of all these books. The first one is A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. I have read a couple of Megan Quinn's in the past, and some I've loved, some I've given like 3 stars. I've heard really good things about this book and this series. I've heard it's really fun and funny and cute and also pretty steamy as well. So I am excited to read this. I believe this is fake dating or fake engaged, I guess. I don't know, but I'm excited. Like I said, heard good things, so I'm sure I will at least enjoy this one. Then I have Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt. This I was supposed to read last year, and I never got around to it. This is another book that I've heard amazing things about. I've just heard everybody loves it. I believe it follows 2 comedians who fall in love, and the male character is a single dad. Funny Feelings is a swoony love story about friendship, love, and looking for the laugh in life. It touches on the creative spirit and all that comes with sharing that gift, and how oftentimes the comedians in our lives are the most sensitive or struggling. It features 2 friends, one incredible little girl, and a kaleidoscope of feelings along the way. Oh, that sounds so wonderful. I'm very excited to read this. I will read it this year. Then I have Only When It's Us by Chloe Leese. This is the first book in the Bergman Brothers series. I have also heard wonderful things about this series. I'm mainly excited to read the second book, but I wanted to read this series in order. I have no idea what this is about other than it follows a family, and I love series that follow big families. Prepare for an emotional roller coaster brimming with laughter, tears, and slow burn sexiness in this new adult romance that tackles the vulnerability of love with humor and heart. It sounds really fun, so I am also excited to read this. I'm just very excited to read all of these books. Then I have Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is the first book in the Chestnut Springs series. This I have heard wonderful things about. Everybody is raving about this book, about this series. I believe the 4th book just came out. This I was also supposed to read last year, never got around to it. This follows a professional bull rider, and I guess he falls in love with his agent's daughter. Sounds fun. Also, the author is Canadian, and I love supporting Canadian authors. I also couldn't decide if I wanted this edition or the discreet covers. I just felt like I wanted this edition. I don't know why. I love discreet covers, but I feel like sometimes they're really unnecessary. Like, I get it. Some people just feel really uncomfortable having a couple on a book cover. I will say the discreet covers for the series are a lot different than many of the other discreet covers out there. I do appreciate their originality, but yeah, I definitely want the people covers. I just like them better. And then I bought When Gracie Met the Grump by Mariana Zapata. This is her newest release. I I want to say like 30 pages into the ebook, and I put it down not because I wasn't interested, I just wasn't really in the mood to read a slow burn Mariana Zapata. But I went ahead and bought the physical copy of it so I could just continue reading it in paperback. I will say the font is a lot smaller than I expected it to be, so it might take me a lot longer to read this because it's quite small. I was really liking the story. It's about like superheroes, and it was really interesting and different, so I'm very excited to continue. Then I bought Rhapsodic by Laura Velisa. I feel like I never know how to pronounce this author's last name. This is the first book in the Bargainer series. I have heard really good things about the series. I have heard really good things about this author. I believe they have another fantasy series as well called The Four Horsemen, I think. I also want to read that one. Bloom Books picked up this series, so this is the new traditionally published edition. I definitely prefer the indie, like, original covers, but I just feel like those are going to be really hard to find, especially now that these editions are being published. So I just went ahead and bought the new edition. That's the one thing I'm really frustrated about now that they're picking up a lot of these indie self-published romances. They're changing the covers, and we're like no longer going to be able to find those original covers as original editions. It just makes me wish I would have read a lot of these books years ago when they actually came out, but better late than never. This is a fantasy series. I have no idea what this is about. I guess it follows Fae and it follows a siren. I don't know, but I'm sure I will like it. I might want to try to read this maybe around like Halloween time. I think that could be fun. This is definitely a book that I've been putting off for years. Full Tilt by Emma Scott. This I'm kind of scared to read. I don't know anything about this other than it is very sad and emotional and heartbreaking. I really want to go into it blind and not knowing anything. I just feel like it'll make the experience better. I think it might also have to do with music. That might be the only thing I know about this, but yeah, I'm very excited to finally read this and stop putting it off. And the last book that I bought is definitely a newer release, and that is Mile High by Liz Tomforde. This is a hockey romance. I feel like this series is really, really popular at the moment. I feel like hockey romances in general are kind of like making a comeback in a way. I read a lot of really good hockey romances like years ago, and I feel like it's been a while since we've had some good ones, but I feel like Icebreaker, this series, there's also another series that I've been meaning to read that is kind of popular right now as well. I love it. I love hockey romances, so I'm very happy that there are a lot of new ones coming out. This follows obviously a hockey player and I believe a flight attendant who works on the plane for the team. I think there's 2 books out, maybe 3 books in this series, so I'm really excited to read this one and then hopefully love it enough to continue the series. It's also pretty big. I think it's like almost 500 pages. It is 474 pages. I feel like that's pretty big for a hockey romance. I feel like romance books are getting bigger and bigger, and I love it, but also it's like, do we need that much? Do we need all of this? I don't know. It seems so massive for a hockey romance, but I'm excited to read this one. So those are all the books that I bought myself for my birthday. I'm actually itching to buy more books. I feel like I didn't buy enough. Like, I want to buy more, but I need to read all of these first because I kind of want to buy like the next books in the series. So I need to read the first books first. Let me know if you have read any of the books that I hauled and what you think about them, or let me know any of your recent book buys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.